Hello, everyone. Wednesday, December 7th, 2016. Of course, it is New Comic Book Day, but today is also the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. So before we get started, I want to thank all the men and women out there that are currently serving this great nation of ours and protecting our freedoms and our rights to enjoy the things that we want to do without persecution or afraid of being jailed. And also, most importantly, this is a day to remember people have made the ultimate sacrifice for this country to give us these freedoms. So with that said, thank you very much. And we will jump right into the books today. This is kind of the books for the last 2 weeks. I picked them all up today because the only video I did on Saturday was for the Las Vegas Great American Comic Con, and I will talk about that in a minute. So without further ado, don't be offended by this cover. This is Looker Zero. It's graphic, that's why I'm covering up the bottom portion. Big following on these books. A lot of people like these books because of the graphic nature, so I pick them up. New Star Wars title. I am not even going to try to announce that name. There's that. A character, I should say, that I know is going to have something real big coming. You just feel it, you can sense it, which is Nightwing #1 Rebirth first print. I was able to pick a couple of those up. Batman Beyond #2. I love annuals. This was the Rebirth Batman Annual #1. I think this came out last week. Really good book. Suicide Squad #7. Ninja Turtles #4 IDW re-release. Cover 1. Cover 2. Batman Rebirth #12. Walking Dead 161, cover 1, cover 2. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not real wild on all these multiple covers. I mean, come on, you're killing me here with these multi-covers. Do one cover, because every book now seems to come out with a bunch of covers. Walking Dead never did that until recently. Rebirth started off doing that, and they continue doing that, so I don't know about you. I'm getting tired of, looking at a book and seeing 9 covers I got to choose from. So here is another example of that. Harley Quinn #9, cover 1. Cover 2, which is the cover I enjoyed. That is Wizard of Oz. That's her little weenie dog Toto, which is a little different, throwing the brick. So I thought that was kind of cool there. And then Clone Conspiracy #3. I enjoyed that book. That was pretty much the new books I got. A very small week. Very small week. Book I picked up in the mail today. Now, if you don't know a lot about these types of books, I'm going to show you. It's Modeling with Millie, #36 from 1964. I graded this a very fine minus, 7.5. The thing about these books are, they're very hard to find in high grade. And there is a huge following and a huge collector base for them, because these are fairly limited and rare books, because, boys didn't go into their stores in the 60s and late 50s and lay down 10, 12 cents for a book with a girl going on her wedding day. They wanted X-Men, Fantastic Four, war books, Our Army at War, the horror books, just that type of stuff, because that was exciting. The translation, hard to find these books. Love Story, My Love, all the stuff from the late 50s, early 60s, the soaps, even books in the early 70s, hard to find. So I have a couple of guys who enjoy these books, and they're going to see this video. I got this in today, and they're going to rush to the store and try to buy it, because they are that hard to find. So if you're ever out and about and you want to find things that are fairly rare, don't turn your back on these type of books here. I know they're not the sexy books, but you know what? They're a lot more valuable than some of those other books, and there's always a market for it. You can sell them real quick. Another thing today came in. I got my t-shirts in. Here is the shirt. There's the front. Little left breast item there, and then here's the back. I like them. I know that a lot of people have been asking for them. I have had customers who come in asking for them. I wore it for the first time today and got tremendous feedback on it. So we are going to have these shirts in the shop for sale. They're going to be in the $18 to $20 range, depending on the size, because I couldn't believe the price of blank black T-shirts in the 3X, 2X, 3X, 4X size. Medium. We're going to have medium, large, extra large, 2X, 3X, and 4X. Right now, just in black. I wanted to get a tester on it to see, if anything needed to be changed. So there were the shirts. I hope everybody liked them. A little rant right now. Of course, I did a video on the Great American Comic Con that was this past weekend. That was sponsored by one of the local comic shops here in town. This is their second annual. And quite frankly, I said in the video on Saturday that the show was really poorly run. It was very poorly organized. It was very poorly advertised. A lot of complaints, a lot of negativity about the show. And I've had the opportunity to talk to people here in town the last few days. And the opinion is the show was very poorly organized, not advertised correctly. And here's the problem I have with that. There are 5 major shops here in town now. The 5th one just opened up, which is your oldest running ones being Velvet Underground, Cosmic Comics, Maximum, Alternate Reality, and the new kid on the block. Well, they're not really the new kid on the block. They're new with the storefront. They have been doing comic shows for years and years. It's Torpedo Comics. And they specialize in super, super high-grade, high-key books. You want the 9.6 Werewolf by Night 32, they're going to have it. But you're going to pay out the nose for that book. Okay? You're going to pay sometimes 2 times and up over price guide for those books because that's how they do it. They have beautiful books, but not a lot of people can go in there and afford to buy their high-grade books. Again, I don't do new books as it relates to selling. I don't try to compete with the bigger shops. I specialize in a higher grade, book. Higher grade, back issues. And people seem to be very happy with my shop. All the viewers that have come to my shop have all had positive things to say. I'm running real strong on Yelp. And again, I'm still kind of the new kid on the block. I've only been open about 1.5 years. I'm getting ready to get into my new space, my bigger space. I'm excited about that because it is about double the size. I'm going to be able to bring in a bunch more stuff and do a lot more things that I want to do with the shop and expand because my goal is not what's going to happen 6 months from now. My goal is to be here 6 years from now, continuing to be strong, continuing to do the things that I need to do to be able to be a positive aspect of the collecting community here in Las Vegas. I'll be here before when a lot of other people aren't. And with that said, the reason I get irritated when people put on shows like this one past weekend, now you had amazing artists. You had Neil Adams, John Romita Jr., okay? You had, I'm just drawing a blank, Brian Pulido. You had Dan Mendoza of Zombie Tramp. You had Rubenstein, the Wolverine from the 80s who did the original for me, which is pretty nice. You can see on the other video. And you have none of the big shops that I just mentioned selling there. And the ones I spoke to 2 of them, 2 of the bigger ones here in town. They weren't even reached out to and asked if they wanted to set up. And the problem I have with that is, if you don't want us doing your shows and you don't want to give us an invitation to sell at your shows or reach out to us, okay? Las Vegas is a very small town as it relates to cities. And if you're going to start turning your back on people and trying to, look at what I'm doing, we're all one community. We all want the same thing. We want this industry to thrive and grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger and just be successful for everybody. But when you put on a shitty show like you did, the big artists that I just mentioned, the Neil Adams and the Pulidos and the Romita Juniors, guess what? When the next big show comes here, they ain't going to come. They're going to blow it off. And then the shows are going to die by the wayside, and then we're going to be stuck having to drive to Utah for the Salt Lake City Con, or in Arizona, or Southern California, Northern California to go to a good show, because you, as a comic book place that considers, oh, look at me putting on a show, you stink it up for everybody because you charge an arm and a leg to get in, and then you don't advertise it. I don't mind spending the money to get a table at a show, but if you have the Las Vegas Comic Book Festival at the library, which is a free show, get higher reviews than your big convention, you're doing something wrong. So either, if you're going to do it next year, either do it right or don't do it, because all you're doing is hurting the industry in this town. And I don't want that, and I know the other shops don't want that. So, I'm not going to blast them out. They know who they are if they watch this video. Wake the hell up and do it right next year. Invite the shops in town and advertise the damn thing. So there's that. Oh, so I got a movie in the mail today. I don't do a lot of things about movies too much. I do want to start getting more into that. But this is a movie I really like. It's a low-budget movie. It's Michael Rooker's very first movie, and it was released yesterday. And this is the 30th anniversary of Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. This movie is loosely based on Henry Lee Lucas, with his time with his partner Otis O'Toole. There's a lot of variations. If you don't know anything about Henry Lee Lucas or his partner, there is a lot of unknowns about how many people they truly killed. Some people say as little as 40, and some people say as many as over 400. But no one really knows. All they know is that when Henry Lee Lucas was in prison, he was telling law enforcement officials while in jail, you go to this state, and then there's, this closed case, but here's where the body is, and this is how it was killed. And everything he gave them on these closed cases was real. And he had all the information. So that tells me he's the one who did it. So he just kept racking up his numbers. And of course, if you remember John Walsh from America's Most Wanted, his partner, Otis, the rumor is that that's the person who killed John Walsh's son, Adam Walsh, many, many years ago, which actually got John Walsh into doing America's Most Wanted, to try to find crimes that were unsolved, like his son's murder, which is to this day still unsolved. So, really good movie, Henry Lucas, 1986, remastered edition. I'm one of those guys, if I like a movie, I'm going to buy every edition that comes out. That's just what I am. I'm like that with Halloween. A lot of the horror movies I like. This is one I liked. I was very excited when it came in, and I can't wait to start watching all these special features on here. So, Henry Lucas. They just also released one for Phantasm, the remastered edition of Phantasm, which as a kid scared me. It was kind of weird, that sphere flying through the air and smacking you in the forehead and drilling into you. That just, something about that was unsettling. That and the tall man is unsettling. So pretty much that's where I'm at right now with that. I want to thank everybody again. I can't say this enough. The people who watch my videos and then come to town and come and see me at my shop, thank you very much. I enjoy meeting people. I'm still a small business. I understand that my business isn't, I'm not doing, thousands of dollars a day in business like some of these shops, but I'm happy with what I'm doing and I enjoy doing this. My goal is to get at least 1,000 subscribers. I'm pretty close to that. So if you know anybody who likes this stuff, have them subscribe. Tell them about the channel. I'm going to do a lot more to it. So, thank you very much. And again, to all you veterans out there, thank you for the sacrifices that you make that allow us, like me, to do a video to reach out to a great industry and a great community of comic book collectors. So, thank you very much. But as always, if you didn't like the video, nothing I can do for you. Everybody have a great night.